What's the juicy stuff?
Well, the fact that Bank of America had more positions than JPMorgan is a big deal. When we're looking at sell-side analysts these days, you're looking at a lot of people looking for sense in the market right now. And for Bank of America to invest that much, remember, the reason sell-side research matters so much is because it really fuels the equities business. It fuels the trading businesses. It fuels the underwriting businesses. So you're watching Bank of America in aggregate come out on top. We'll also point out Mike Wilson over at Morgan Stanley, who won the best portfolio strategist kind of award here for institutional
I thought his year was
research.
last year, not this year.
I thought the same. He's kind of been wrong this year so far, hasn't he? But, you know, it's funny because he kind of made that sort of kind of mea culpa earlier in the year and walked back some of his views and then doubled down on the bearishness, which hasn't all played out. But I think his contrarian view has been highly rewarded. He's been right about half the time when you look at his track record over the last 5-6 years.
Is half the time good? I'm trying to.
Clearly, I mean, number one, so it clearly must be good.
What I think about interesting about all this sell-side stuff is the market has been so whippy. And you get hold of a narrative and it changes so fast. So it must be so difficult for these sell-side analysts to have a call and want to stick with it.
There's another funny kind of element of this too, and is what's the role of an analyst in this environment? When I talk to folks on the C-suite here, they say, listen, you have to be the best of the best. And if you're not, there's AI that can take out a lot of the work in a research desk. You just think about the shrinkage over the last 5-10 years on sell-side research. And so to come out as Mike Wilson and be rated #1, you really need to be top 10 or top 5 here in the world. Otherwise, you start to wonder about the positioning here for a lot of the sell-side research.
What about economists? So Guy was talking literally all day yesterday about how economists don't matter, only airline CEOs matter. What about top economists?
Apparently only Ed Hyman matters. You have Evercore ISI, such a deep history there over at ISI. 43 times out of more than 50 times that this survey has been done coming out on top. So keeping up with Ed Hyman is really the name of the game on Wall Street.
I just want to quickly get your take. We need to talk about crypto because you're doing the show today, so we need to get your take on what is happening there clearly. A whole load of really senior Wall Street folk out in Riyadh right now. Oh my Lord, do they sound depressed?
Yes, it's a really doldrum times over there in Riyadh, of course. You're looking into next year, and we were talking about this in the commercial break. It's not just the fact that rates are really soaring, it's also the fact that they're so volatile. The fact that the 30-year has moved 20 basis points in a single day for presumably the safest asset in the world. But to your point here, what has been the weirdest haven of all havens this year is Bitcoin. It's one of the best performing assets on Wall Street, and now that hope of an ETF, you look at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust alone, the last time I was talking to you about this, it has a 50% discount to NAV. It's down to 6% now. And so
that's better.
That's better.
Yeah, but for reasons, like an appeals court is telling SEC that he has to go back and review the ETF applications. There's like a reason behind it.
It's a very strange dynamic here because on one hand, you know, I've been kind of bothering Mike Novogratz about this. If you are a macro trader, does Bitcoin have a purpose here when you're worried about the volatility of a plain old bond? Weird. I don't know.
But it's the gold story we were talking about a little bit earlier on. It's trying to find an uncorrelated asset right now, trying to find actually a place that you can hide, because the bond market is not doing what you would expect it to do. The bond market's not a safe haven. So where do you go?
Well, also, if you wind up book squaring and you have Grayscale getting into an ETF and you don't own it, like do
all the ETFs get cleared at the same time?
I think that's what we don't know yet.
Is it going to be a sort of sequentially? Because otherwise you could see one or two of these things getting a mass. And if Grayscale's not first, that's going to be fascinating. Anyway,
They use all their
all of
advantage.
these things,
They lose all their advantage.
answers will be coming very shortly.